You check your private messages, please, sir. Hi, good evening and welcome to Thfc Till I Die, your home of Tottenham past, present and future. Philip, how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm just watching Harry Kane about to come on for his debut for Bayern Munich here. He's just warming up at the side of the pitch here with an hour gone in the match. So yeah, apart from that, it's strange. It's very strange seeing Harry Kane in a different kit. It really is. It's really
I think
weird.
we picked a wrong time for this podcast tonight. I think for some reason.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this game will be over now in 20 minutes anyway. So
Yeah, but anyway, look, big results today. If you're not ready, a lot of shocks in the Premier League, Philip. What do you reckon today? Any big shocks for you, or was it just business as usual?
Well, I'm surprised Villa caved in as much as they did at Newcastle. 5 emphatic start for the Geordies. Luton losing, that was always pretty predictable. No real shocks really, I don't think. But then again, really, Newcastle were the only one of the top 6 playing today. So apart from, we'll not mention who won 2-1 earlier in the day, and couldn't even get their ticketing thing right. There was 35,000 people locked out of the ground before they got in. You know? So, yeah, there was. Yeah.
And Harry Kane. I didn't know nothing about this. So what happened there?
I don't know. There's something wrong with it. Maybe the software on the the way you scan your tickets or something like that. Remember the problem we had getting into the AC Milan game?
Oh yeah,
it was that multiplied by 35,000.
Fuck, I bet there was a lot of angry fans out there. But Lucy's in the chat. Yeah, we know we should have thought about this through before we did this tonight. To be fair, but thank you. Who's watching? Only one watching. Thank you, whoever you are. We've got FTSM Colin watching the Bayern game as well. Kane on the bench. They are 2-0 down. Well, I'm quite happy because RB Lies
coming on now. Coming on.
Yeah. We've got this is now our new podcast. This is where it goes up. This is where it goes up now, Philip. This is new on Spotify. We had to change it because I lost the login details, to be fair. So as from tonight, this will be episode 2 going up there. So please get over there to the THFC Till I Die, the Cockeral podcast, Spurs weekly review every day on Twitch. So once a week we do these shows. They will be going on Spotify, so you can listen to us shopping, at the gym, or wherever you like. We've got Tequila in. Tequila saying hello. Colin says Kane's coming on with 30 minutes to go. Yeah. We've got Mick Harmlett. Good evening, Dermot and Philip. We've got, hey, Mick, how are you tonight, Sir Mick? And then we've got Tequila. I am good, Tequila. How are you doing? Yeah, Philip, look, do you want to start with Harry Kane? Do you want to start there and we'll work sort of through the podcast?
I suppose he's the elephant in the room, so we might as well get it out of the way.
Shall we get out of the way? Look, I've always said it, Philip, you've seen great players leave us before. We saw Jimmy Greaves go to West Ham. Have you the same feeling tonight seeing Harry Kane playing for Bayern Munich as the same as when you saw Jimmy Greaves play first for West Ham? And I think, didn't he score, if I'm right, Philip, did he score on his West Ham debut away to Manchester City at Main Road? Was that his first game for?
I don't know if that was his first game. Jimmy Greaves scored on every debut he ever made for all his clubs and for England as well. So, yeah, he did score, yeah. I don't know. To be honest with you, I feel at Harry Kane now, I feel very little. You know, I did have this thing before we left. I thought, oh God, I'll be following Harry Kane. I hope he does very well at Bayern Munich. But you know, the first thing I did this morning, I unfollowed him on Twitter. Just unfollowed him, and I don't really care what he does now. He's no longer a Spurs player, so that's it. Thank you very much for what he's done, but he's gone now, and other players will take his place, as has happened in the past with all the other players we lost. You know, it's not. It's an awful loss, but it's not. It's not a penalty to Leipzig. It's going to be 3-0 now. Harry's making a great start.
He is. Starts with a runners-up.
He's demonstrating with the referee, would you believe? He's standing beside the ref.
Really?
I don't know what his German is like now, but he's saying something to the ref. Oh, dear. See, this wasn't a penalty. Oh, yeah, all day long. Penalty all day long, handball. Yeah, I mean, we'll move on. We'll hope Richarlison and Son will pick up the mantle until we bring in, like, you're never going to bring in a direct replacement for Harry Kane. Harry Kane is unique. We'll bring in a replacement. It'll be unique in his own way, and then we'll start score. Let's face it, we want the ball to hit the back of the net, and I don't care who does it, as long as somebody does it.
And Philip, look, before we get on to the last week at Spurs, we have got a couple of bits of transfer news to get through. First of them is Tottenham. I apologise about this PDF. I accidentally, instead of calling them blue, I pressed the white button and all of it went white. And I didn't realise until just now. So apologise, it's a bit bright in your face. But anyway, Tottenham Hotspur to submit written offer for attacker next week following verbal proposal. Now, Philip, we've been hearing about the gent striker, Gift Orban.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we broke it there a few days ago that we are looking into him. There was going to be a written a fee put in for him. Do you think this is a player that could somehow replace Harry Kane? Or do you think this is just going to be a different type of striker? Because he had a great striker.
He's knocking goals in for fun. He's got a hat-trick in the conference during the week.
Yeah.
He looks to be a really good player now. You know, not every player will transform into the Premiership, and we just hope that he is one of them. But the money they're talking is not over the top, 25 to 30 million, which is really reasonable for a top-class striker. But we need to get him in quick because he's going to be big in demand. We now have money, so let's go and buy him. There's been other strikers mentioned, a guy, an Iranian guy, but playing for Porto, but I think he's 31. This guy's 21 or 22. This is the type of age you get them at. We're building a very young team at Tottenham, and let's keep that going.
Yeah. Do you feel, Philip, that it's now about time that we did build this young team like we had under Poch? I mean, those were great years, but do we have a manager now that will go that extra mile where maybe Poch didn't have that probably experience in major finals, like a League Cup final or a Champions League final? He really was how good Poch was. But in them big moments, Philip, was it a case of he didn't have that big game nounce, if you know what I mean?
Well, you could say that. Yes, you could say that. But then again, Ange might have won things in Australia and Japan and Scotland. Can you class that as being absolutely big league? Probably not. So from that point of view, he's coming into this job unproven at the highest level. But I think from what we've seen, he's succeeded everywhere he's been. He's dragged mediocre teams up by the bootlaces. And and the players he's brought in so far has brought the average age of our squad way down. I mean, if you look at this, I think Perisic at 34 and Son at 31 are the two eldest players in the squad at the moment. If you leave Hugo Lloris and stuff out of it. I mean, the goalie's 27, the fullbacks are 23 and 21. Romero's only 25, Van de Ven 22. So we're really building for the future, I think is the right way of putting it. And Leipzig are ripping Bayern Munich apart here. They're 3-0 up on the show.
I tell you one thing, for the German football is actually good. It's better. It's one of the best European leagues actually around, better than Italian and Spanish football. I know Bayern Munich win the league.
I've seen people calling German league a farmers league. It's not. The French league is a farmers league, and maybe some of the other. But no, German league is good. The German league is good, but so far Harry hasn't had a kick at the ball yet.
Look, Tequila, let's get one thing. We had to start with the elephant in the room. We're just going to go through it. It is a weekly podcast. So we have got other news. We've got the preview to come for the Brentford game. So if you want to go, just leave out. If you want to stay.
We're going to finish talking about Harry Kane now in a second anyway. As far as that, he's gone now. We have to move on.
Yeah. Very quickly, Philip, that's what he said when he left to the Tottenham fans. Hard to put into words how to say goodbye to a club and fans who have done so much for me and my career. You'll always be in my heart. Thank you, Tottenham. Thank you, Tottenham fans. Quickly then goes to Bayern Munich and says all that crap. But I suppose he has to say it, doesn't he, to be fair?
Yeah, there's a bit of a slap there in the last paragraph. He says that this club is defined by its winning mentality. If you notice when he was saying goodbye on the WhatsApp this morning, he thanked even the people in the canteen. He didn't thank Daniel Levy, and that's a slap at Daniel Levy there. A club that shows a winning mentality. So and I'm sure what went on the last couple of days at Spurs might not have been too pleasant either for him, waiting for the permission to go to Germany, things like that. But anyway,
right. Gift Orban will push from his side to get a move to Tottenham over the line quickly. He likes the prospect of playing in the Premier League, leading the line for Tottenham Hotspur in this new project. And so that's very positive news.
Is that from Urban?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing up on the screen there, so I don't know where you're reading from there.
So I was reading it from my WhatsApp, Philip.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know where you were getting it from. Sorry. Yeah. Right.
No. Enjoyed the stream, Tequila says. Sorry, Mick. Take care. See you later, Mick Hemlick. It's fine, Domo. Can't stop people talking about it, but I don't want to hear it. And I think we won't be
mentioning it too much longer now.
But look, I want to get into this, Philip, very quickly in this part of the podcast and sort of move on from it. But we had it today in Around the Grounds, Philip, where the younger fans seem to be more upset with this move and more annoyed with the move, where fans probably like ourselves, Philip, probably Tequila, Mick Hem, the older generation of fans that have been there. I've seen to take it, well, look, players come and go, Tottenham still be here, we move on. Why do you think the younger fans, Philip, are taking this harder, say from 35 downwards?
Because they haven't been
supporting Spurs. From 40 downwards.
They haven't been supporting Spurs as long as we have. That's why. We're resigned to a lot of this stuff. And no offense to younger people. I used to be one myself. They all want things. They want a quick fix on everything. And the think Harry Kane should be here for life. It doesn't work that way. It's just It's just a case of accepting what's happened. I know we don't all like it. We're all sorry to see him go. He's gone now. That's the end of it. The king is dead. Long live the king. We've lost players before him, and we'll lose him again. He'll not be the last big player to leave Tottenham.
No,
he really won't. And
he won't.
My only worry tomorrow, Dermot, my only worry tomorrow is that Spurs have a nightmare at Brentford, and everyone is jumping on Ange after his first match in charge. That's my worry tomorrow, and it could happen. It could happen because there will be bad days before the good times arrive here, and they will arrive, but it might take a while. But I hope to God that we get a result tomorrow. That at least people will have no reason to start mouthing off about him. I'll get rid of Ange. He's no good after one match. If I see that, I'll tell you there'll be an awful lot of people being unfollowed on Twitter tomorrow if that's the way it's going to go.
Very quickly, just to say also, Dave was due to join us now for the last few podcasts. Now, Dave's been very busy because he had to go to England last week, and he's been very busy, I know, with the Hotspur channel himself. And I know all us channel creators have been very busy the last couple of weeks getting ready for the new season. So I think as from next week, I'm thinking I'm right, Dave will be joining us on this podcast weekly now. I'll get that confirmed during the week. But he was due to join us tonight, but other commitments sort of got in the way. But I think from next week, he will be on every week with us. So big up, Dave, if you are watching. Hope you're doing all right, sir. And we've got another bit of news coming in. Højbjerg is struggling to complete his desired move from Tottenham Hotspur to Madrid, according to reports in Spain. Philip, the reason it's classed as a dead-end operation is because they cannot meet Tottenham's financial demands for the transfer.
Right.
So that's the very latest on Højbjerg.
Yeah, we're probably looking for too much. Well, no, then again, we're not going to give him away for nothing. He's worth it. He's worth a really good amount of money, that fella. But Spanish clubs have no money at the moment, really. That's probably the general rule. I'm not that type of money anyway.
Well, look, I wouldn't mind Højbjerg staying, to be fair, Philip.
No,
wouldn't mind.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, we've got Destiny now, would do. Evening, lads. We've got Lee Reaches. Don't forget, folks, we played Harry in most important games in our history when we all knew he wasn't fit. But we played him because he was Harry Kane. No one can say he hasn't had a chance to win things here. Look, you can go down that road if you want to, but look, it is what it is. Philip, it's sort of going over old ground now, isn't it? He's not here, so what he does now at Bayern Munich, he does. It doesn't bother us, does it? Unless we meet him in the Champions League or something.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother us at all. But it shouldn't bother us at all. I mean, when I'll tell you, give me an example. When Gaza went to Italy after leaving Spurs, I never even checked the results.
No.
When Glenn Hoddle went to Monaco, didn't give a toss. You know, I'm more concerned about the players who are still wearing the white shirts. They're the ones that matter, and they're the ones I'll always watch out for.
I love that attitude. When Glenn Hoddle went to Monaco, didn't give a toss. I love that attitude. So, it's good though. Hello. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Who's this stranger? Haven't seen him before. Is this a new YouTuber that's come onto the scene?
It's amazing what they let onto YouTube these nights, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Look at him. Look at him with his big flare behind him. All glossy background in his studio. Look at him. The king of Kildare himself.
Can you move the microphones? I'll see the black tie you have on.
I wish I had one on, lad. I wish. I'm just getting in the white in the mood for tomorrow.
Yeah. God. You looking forward to it now, Dave? New season.
Look, I'm looking forward to it. You know, new season. I always go in there with optimism and hope. Look, new era. You know, new manager, new captain. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, that's it. Well, look, Dave, we are going to start with where we always start every week. How would you rate the last week at Spurs?
0. Being brutally honest. Look, I don't believe we should have sold Kane. I can't believe Daniel Levy brought character. He's not even good at being Daniel Levy anymore. You know, and it's just the timing of the bid when they accepted it. I just don't agree with it. 2 days out from a season opener. But look, you know, Bayern Munich are losing 3-0 now as we speak, and hopefully they don't win the Bundesliga, and Harry Kane decides to come back. But look, you know, there's been big change this week. Big change.
Yeah, I don't know what happened yesterday with stopping him going to Munich, whether that was Spurs or Bayern, but Dave, would you rather know, you know, looking forward to next June, say Harry stayed, right, and didn't exactly pull up any trees this season, and we lose it for nothing next year? Do you not feel at least by getting the money from him now, it can do the club some good, rather than giving him away for nothing next year? Look, he's not going to sign the contract.
Here's where I disagree a little. I mean, Mo Salah was in the same situation at Liverpool gone by. They took the gamble and they ended up signing a new deal. Look, when it comes to Harry Kane and when it comes to money with Tottenham Hotspur, I've been doing my research into the money we make, and it's not about money. And plus, it's about what we were told when we were building that stadium. Look, Philip, I've been through it before, right? We've sold Carrick, we've sold Berbatov, we've sold Robbie Keane, we've sold Modric, we've sold Bale. I've been there before. But when we were building this new stadium and diversifying all of the revenue streams, it was so that we could keep our best players to stop them from going to bigger clubs. That's the whole reason behind it. But yet here we are still selling our best players. And me personally, I feel like I've been lied to on that, because then what was the point in pulling transfers under 3 seasons or under 3 windows under Pochettino at every opportunity, despite what they what the purpose of building the stadium was? Since then, they have pulled the reins. And for me, I just don't agree with it whatsoever. This club make 500 billion per year, or with match day revenue. That's £500 million per year out of all the different revenue streams they have. They've got the boxing, the concerts, the NFL, which we rent out the club shop. They've got 2 club shops, one at the stadium, one in Harlow. They've got more bars and food outlets in the restaurants than what they had at White Hart Lane. They've got the go-karting to come. They've got the abseiling. They've got the Skywalk. They've got the Spurs Play. We have more revenue streams than any other club across the world. When is enough money enough? And when are we going to start keeping our big players so that we can start competing with these big clubs?
But Dave, there's one thing where your argument is, I totally take what you're saying there, but there's one simple reason why Harry Kane may not have been part of that. He didn't want to stay. He made it clear he wanted to leave. So what can you do? Do you keep a player that's unhappy and maybe doesn't do what he done at the start of 2 seasons ago? You know, it's a huge risk.
Well, hang on, Philip. We talk about 2 seasons ago, and I heard this a lot where people say Harry Kane down tools. Who finished the club's top scorer that season? Harry Kane. No, Harry Kane finished the club's. No, across all competitions, Harry Kane finished the club's top scorer that season. So the notion that Harry Kane down tools is not correct. Harry Kane has always played to the maximum of his ability. So even people to suggest that he would have down tools this season is absolutely nonsense. The guy's giving it his all every single season, despite the noise around him, despite the noise or the bad decisions from the top, and despite the crap performances around him. We should have gambled. It's what the whole stadium was built for.
He still wanted to leave, David. That was, he can never. If he had an agreement from Levy, whenever that gentleman's agreement,
if they got the deal done, if the deal wasn't done before the Brentford game, he was happy to stay.
Oh yeah, possible. Well, that's true enough. Yeah, but then you've got the situation right. It's a gamble to take. Would you not rather see? Now I'm being devil's advocate here, right? Would you not rather see Spurs spend that money right on a young up and coming striker? Right, who won't score 30 goals. I know that no one's going to score 30 goals this season like Harry Kane did. But do you not feel that Harry's 30 years of age, right? He's coming towards the last 2 or 3 productive years of his life, football life. Because let's face it, when you come to 33, 34, you're on the way down, right? Mm. And did Levy just decide, right, I can get 100 million for this guy. I can invest in the club, which hopefully he does. And that's my big worry, that this money will not be reinvested in the team.
It won't.
But I have to say, I've been a huge Harry Kane fan. But this morning, something switched off with me. When I saw him in Munich, I said, that's it for me.
I get it. It's done. It's done. But I just feel that the club should have took the gamble on this one, because at some point they're going to have to do it in order to start standing up to these bigger clubs and give us what we were told when we were moving into this stadium.
Oh, true enough. Yeah, I mean, I take your point, but I mean, it's done. Listen, matter what we talk about now, it's done and dusted, and it ain't happening. Nothing's going to be reversed. And I must say, I'm watching him here at the minute. He's had 1 touch since he came on in 15, 20 minutes. So he's going to find it hard enough to adjust, I'd say, to their style of play.
Yeah. I think tequila went off to find some more tequila, I think. But big up tequila, you're welcome back, sir. Look, Dave, we all love Harry Kane. Look, very last before we move on. Your favourite moment of Harry Kane?
The goal against Arsenal, coming in from the corner flag and burying it and then celebrating and ripping off the goggles. Absolutely my favourite moment, followed by the away game I was at Brighton at the Amex when he kicked that Coke can, or the Coke bottle. I mean, I nearly fell out my chair. I nearly had a heart attack. My 2 favourite things in life, Coke and Harry Kane.
Another thing as well, I was talking to Philip about this. Somebody put in the chat today, Dave, before we move on. Do you feel the younger fans are more affected by Harry Kane leaving than the older fans? Say fans like myself and Philip, where we've seen big players before, but the younger fans, this is their first big player that's left the club. Do you know what I mean? Do you feel there's a bit of a divide?
Look, I'd classify myself as an older fan as well. And you got to remember, even people in my generation, we lost Carrick, we lost Berbatov, Keane, Modric, Bale. We've had our best players sold as well. But my whole point around it is what we were promised when we were building this stadium on what we were supposed to do and why it was designed so that we could keep our best players. But yet here we are still selling our best players. And that's what frustrates me most about this whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got Lee Richards here, Philip, saying, on balance, I think the club made the right decision. He wouldn't sign a new contract. We couldn't take the risk of him going free next summer. I think we need to move on now. Please talk about the future. And we've got Andrew Gregory. Kane's most complete performance was City 2 seasons ago.
That's right. That's my favourite moment from him as well, actually.
And
3-2
big
game.
up to and big up to the disabled team. Big up Dermot, Philip and Dave. Hope you're all well. Yeah, we're grand. Dave is now getting back to being a Spurs fan after a few days of mourning. He's now lit the white flag. He's like being at the Sistine Chapel. The white smokes come over. Dave, the Irish Hotspur Towers. Dave is back. He's in business. He's now.
Look, I've always been a Spurs fan before I've been a Harry Kane fan. Just because I adored Harry Kane and I've appreciated more than anybody what the guy has done for this club, it doesn't make me not a Tottenham fan. I've always been a Tottenham fan long before I was a Harry Kane fan.
Yeah, I know that, Dave. I know that, man. I know that. Look, guys, we've got a new captain. Son's been named captain with Maddison and Romero as vice captains. I'll start with you, Philip, first, and then go to you, Dave. Look, for me, I think it's the right choice. It was the logical choice for Sonny as captain of his country. He leads by example. He's one of the oldest players now in the squad. I think it was the right choice and a right decision by Ange. Philip, do you agree with Ange's choice, or would you have picked somebody else?
Yeah, I not disagree with it, but I have the opinion the captain should be either in the defense or maybe in the central midfield area. We can see what's going on in the game. So the Suma would have been one of my choices, but I'm not going to knock Sonny because I mean the guy is he lives and breathes Spurs. You know, bit surprised at the two vice captains. Now I have to say, I didn't think Maddison would get the kick that quick, and Romero. Well, we know what a hothead he can be in the game. You know, but. Yeah, I mean, so this is. I'm beginning to wonder: is this another commercial decision by Tottenham? Because think of the extra number 7 shirts he's going to sell in Korea. The Son as captain of his club as well as captain of his country. But maybe I'm being cynical there, you know. But I hope he'll do a good job because he is slightly off his game at the minute. Like I watched him closely in the first half, especially last week at Shakhtar. I was sitting nearly 5-10 yards away from him, and he was doing a lot of things good. He hadn't got the confidence to go by his man. And he was coming back when he should have been going down the wing and didn't shoot on a couple of occasions, but normally he would have done so. Hopefully this captainship will give him back a bit of zip in his game. Starting tomorrow, please.
And Dave, you happy with the choice of captain, or would you have picked somebody else?
Nah, look, I think it was obvious once Kane wasn't going to be here, once Højbjerg's on the verge of being sold. I think, Sonny was always going to be that next guy. And look, he deserves it. He's hung around for a long time. Every time he's played, he's given it his all. Okay, last season didn't go his way, but there was a lot of injuries he was carrying. He had the big preseason in Korea that sort of mentally drained him before the start of the season and absolutely everything. But for me, look, there's definitely a commercial decision behind it, 100%. The club know exactly what they're doing there. But look, I can understand why. But what I will say is a lot of people, would say, oh, he's a nice guy. That's why he deserves it. People, that haven't been in and around the football environment just don't understand what a captain is supposed to do. A captain isn't there to be everybody's friend. And we have to get that out of our head. A captain is there. He has to be able to praise people and bollock people at the same time, but still get that same respect regardless of what way, he is. And it'd be interesting to see if Son can bring out that sort of characteristic side to him. Does he have that in him when it's needed or when it's called upon? But look, I'd rather him than someone like Dyer, who I believe threw a hissy fit this morning because he didn't get the captaincy armband, deleted Spurs off all social media and absolutely everything. And by the way, that's going to be dangerous because if he's kept around, well, we know it beforehand, he's managed to get people on side to be able to get managers out the door. So that situation has been nipped in the bud straight away, and he has to be gone. But the vice captains, look, I have no problem with Romero being a vice captain. He's aggressive, and he gives me exactly what I want in a player that's wearing the jersey at centre back. Good on the ball, and he's aggressive and he's defending. So for me, I'm okay with that. And then Maddison, I think, they would like one English lad in there, and Maddison fits that bill. Look, it's a new leadership group, and let's see how they do, because ones beforehand with some of the other old guard in it clearly weren't working out because you couldn't speak to them a certain way. So, look, it'd be interesting to see whether Son has that nastiness in him, because he is going to need it.
He is. And look, with Romero, sorry, Philip, go on.
No, what would have been handy today? You remember when they showed the video of Ange making the announcement? All you could see was the back of the players' heads. I would love to have seen who was actually in that group. Was Dyer there? Was he actually sitting down listening to that? Because he went on, I know all this stuff has gone off social media. He's come back onto Instagram apparently, but I just wonder, was it after that he threw the hissy fit, or did he know about it in advance and didn't bother going to the meeting? But wherever he's done, I think he's toast now. His position is untenable at the club after that.
I've actually got some breaking news on Dyer in a minute, which I'll bring up. Look, for me personally, Romero as vice captain, I always go back to Maradona. In his younger days, was a hothead, got sent off for Barcelona, was in fights and everything. When I forget who took over Argentina after 1982 World Cup, the new manager gave Maradona the captaincy of his country, and it calmed him down. And then we saw how good Maradona become, one of the greatest players we will ever see. I think for Romero, it might do the same thing. It might just calm him down a little bit and give him a bit more time. Well, hang on, I'm captain. I need to think. So, but for me, Sonny, I think, Philip, you're right. It's a commercial choice. Maddison captain of Leicester as well. He was captain a few times. Good choice. And I think Romero, I've been banging on about Romero. You know, I have Philip on here to be captain. So for me, I think it's three good choices.
Maddison won't have any what would you say, preconceived ideas of cliques and all this in the group. He's coming fresh. So that's probably why it's a good enough decision to bring him in, you know?
Yeah.
On Romero, though, I do think there's a lot made about him being an aggressive personality. I mean, I'm sorry, but I remember supporting Spurs for a while before we ended up bringing in Wilson Palacios, where we were dying for that aggressive personality in the team. You know, someone that wasn't afraid to go and bring that physicality when needed, fight and stand up when needed. Every single dressing room across all sports will all have that one aggressive character, that fire personality, and a good dressing room will always need it as well.
Yeah,
it's too much.
You're right. I think it's a fear of a red card. It's like I saw him make a tackle against Shakhtar Donetsk. You could see it coming 5 yards away. He slid into the guy. It was purely, you know, reckless. But that he needs to cut that out of his game, you know, because otherwise we'll have a couple of red cards in the season when that could badly affect the end result, you know.
I wouldn't say cut it out. I'd say minimize it because sometimes
well, reduce it.
Like you would know as much as me, right? Sometimes the team can be flat for the first 10, 15 minutes for whatever reason. And it takes someone just to go and clean someone out, stand up and just say, come on, you know, and get the team going. Sometimes you do need that. I mean, dressing rooms I played in, we all had it, you know, you do need it.
I mean, you look at Roy Keane. He was a captain that you didn't mess with. And if you did mess with him, he either slag you off in the paper or on the Man United TV, or he have you up in the wall in the dressing room.
And he had them tackles in him.
He did. Do you feel captains follow their managers? Do you know what I mean? Like Roy Keane followed, he was like Alex Ferguson, but on the pitch. You feel like, was Sonny follow Ange? Like Steve Perryman always spoke to Keith Birkinshaw every day. And he was like a manager on the pitch with other captains. Do you feel Tottenham could be like that, Philip, where back then we had Graham Roberts, Paul Miller, Ozzy Ardiles probably was a bit of a captain too, Tony Galvin, Steve Archibald. Everyone could bollock everyone, but now football's a bit too nicey nice. That, or if you say that to me, I'm going to the chairman or I'm going to the manager.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Does it need to get back to what it was in the 80s, Philip?
It'd be ideal. I mean, if you had a few Graham Roberts in your side, you have nothing to worry about. That's for sure. Yeah. You know, the thing is, you don't know who are the leaders in the dressing room, though. You know, we don't really never hear that much talked about. I can anticipate that Højbjerg is one. He strikes me as being a very vocal sort of a guy. Kane obviously was one. Who else have we got? See, again, Romero. What's Romero's grasp of English like? That's something, I suppose. You know, is he got good English? Because you never really hear him being interviewed. Dave, have you ever heard him being?
If I'm a good mind reader, or sorry, not a mind reader, a lip reader, after he makes challenges, he's definitely got a grasp of the swear words for sure.
Oh, that's all right. That's the thing. We learn them first anyway, you know. I'd say we have a good few leaders in that. Okay, we've got a few shrinking violets as well, you know. And I'm just looking at, again, go back to the Eric Dyer thing. Colin made a good comment there that if there was a vote on Son's captaincy, if there was a vote, I think it was only Dyer voted against him. I didn't vote for him, which speaks volumes, I think. Anyway, you know. So anyway,
if we're voting for the captaincy, though, we've got problems. Ange Postecoglou should pick.
I don't think there was a vote. I think maybe as Colin just being surmising that's the way it would have gone. You know, I think Ange just made the captaincy decision on his own. He has to. There's no one else can make it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, Wilton McDonald says, Ange is the best manager since Bill Nicholson and Keith Birkinshaw. I am putting this out there because he will turn this club around with the help of those who own the club, as us and us supporters, not being so divided. Look, Philip, I'll start with you, Dave, on this. Look, we've been very divided the last couple of years with one reason and another. And you with me have seen the YouTube community being torn in two. There was two camps. You know me, I've talked about, we've talked about Tottenham and the fans till we're blue in the face privately, as well as you, Philip. So do you feel with Ange coming in was like a breath of fresh air, but now with Kane being sold, we're sort of bang back to where we were last season if we don't get a good start tomorrow?
Yeah, of course we are, Dermot. It's not only that. You got to remember the most thing that people are angry about is the hike of of the ticket prices for match day and going fans. You know, a lot of them are angry over that as well. And look, the club are the one that continues to make these boneheaded decisions. You know, they're no European football, but then they hike the price of tickets to try and make up for the loss of ticket sales from European games, despite them making 500 million a year in revenue in terms of income, which is only increasing every single year. And it just absolutely blows my mind. They've somehow, after the cesspit of last year, they're bringing in Ange and sort of stuff like that, signing Madison, they managed to get a good feeling factor around again. But they tarnished it as soon as they upped the ticket prices. And then it completely turned again. And they sell Kane a couple of days before the season out. You know, despite what side of the opinion you fall on, I think we'll all agree that there should have been a deadline set by the owner by the end of July. It shouldn't have been allowed to carry on this long. And it has had a knock-on effect to the rest of the transfer business we've been doing. You know, we haven't done enough in terms of focusing on getting players out. We've got a bloated squad now, so the chances of incomings are minimalised as well. And I already think that K money is going to be used to balance the books. We spent 193 million this summer, including the money for Porro that had to be paid and Kulusevski. We average out at about 100 million net spend per summer transfer window. So that has to come dramatically down. So that game money is going to go back into balancing the books or bringing it down. So look, it's the club have themselves to blame. First home game of the season, because they hiked the ticket prices, there's protests going on. They've only got themselves to blame.
Yeah,
I think the way they did it, David and Dermot, was, remember back in March, they announced they were freezing the price of season tickets. And everybody thought, this is great, this is marvelous. Then they go and hit the man in the street who buys his tickets on an individual basis, right? Whereas people that probably could afford the increase were the ones that got off scot-free. And it's the likes of you, me, and Dermot going over to the games that have to shell out the extra bob. And that was, to me, that was unforgivable.
Yeah. But they'll up the season ticket prices next year, you know, the season ticket holders next year. And like Anthony Gregory said, it was a double whammy because they upped the price of the memberships to be able to get the tickets. So, you know, and the thing is, right, I can get it from, you know, a business point of view about inflation, right? But at some point, you can't keep hitting the fans' pockets. They have a limit. You know, and at some point, you've got to be able to take that cost. And as a business that generates over 500 million a year in terms of income, they're the ones more equipped to be able to take that hit than the match day going fan. I think they forget what area the club is in. You know, Tottenham, it's a working class area. I think they forget what's on their doorstep. And it's an absolute joke. And it's only going to keep rising. And that's why I have a problem with it. And you know what? Quite frankly, I'm fed up of a fan having to constantly think about finances. I get it. It's a part of modern day football. But for the last, do you know what? Since I've turned sour, since Pochettino, all I hear is, we can't do this because of finances. Can't do that because of finances. Finances. All I care about is the football I see on the weekend. You can do what you want after that. Just put a good product on the pitch. Yeah. But they don't. And they always find out reasons not to do it. It's so annoying. I'm a football fan first, not a financial expert.
Yeah, and I think that's it, isn't it, guys? Now, look, we know the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust have got the protest for the Man United game. They seem to be going down. They were very critical of Tottenham selling Harry Kane as well, from what I'm hearing. So, Philip, I'm going to start with you, then to you, Dave. Do you trust the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust? Because they're under new ownership now, but do you trust them as a fan? Do you trust our Supporters Trust?
Well, am I right in saying this is a newly elected board of members on this THST, right?
Well, I've heard something privately, which I'll tell you guys after, but yeah.
But are they up to now? I always had the impression that people on that board, they were getting their free dinners from the club, they were getting maybe traveling expenses to meet and stuff like that. Cushy number. Let's do the nodding dog impersonation. Just agree with everything the club tells you and get on with it. Put out these emails now and again, maybe mildly objecting to something that's going on in the club, but never actually doing anything about it. Maybe this crowd are decided now, they've come out against the Harry Kane transfer. Maybe they've grown a pair and they're going to start demonstrating against the club. But then again, they're biting the hand that kind of feeds them. And will the club take any notice of what they say? I don't think so. I think they'll go down the minutes of a meeting, be filed in a drawer and gather dust, and that'll be the end of it. So whether do I trust them or not, I honestly don't trust any. The only supporters bodies I would trust are ones that are completely independent from the club, because otherwise there's going to be influence brought on them by the club to make decisions that suit the club and not the fans. So do I want a word? Do I trust them? No.
Dave, where were they when the Super League came out? They've only started. Where were they when we really needed them as a supporters trust? They weren't there. Yeah, I know they do plenty of work behind the scenes and for everything there, and they are good at that. And the work they do for the community and everything, we can't begrudge them that, and fair play to them for doing that. But for the main pie of the story, if you know what I mean, Dave, Super League, it took them forever to come out with a statement against the club. The owners taking us in there. They haven't really been critical of the owners, apart from now with the Harry Kane and the ticket prices. So do you feel it's a new broad, new sweep of the broom at the Tottenham Hotspur Sports Trust, and we should get behind it? Or do you think we need to wait and see what happens? And do you trust them?
Look, first of all, I think you got to highlight the good things that the Supporters Trust do. Like they help, behind the scenes. They help, with disabled access, and they do fight for good causes like that, right? And they do some good. So I do think it is worth acknowledging that. But when it comes to Supporters Trust, I think the old guard that were sort of at the top, sort of influencing the decisions in there or what they were going to do, they were of the belief that they didn't want to push too far, because otherwise the club would only sort of regress backwards with the way they, communication. Because at the end of the day, the club don't actually have to communicate with the Supporters Trust if they don't want to. It's just good PR if they do. But what we've got to understand is, these guys could go and the next guys could come up below them and come in again in the next few years. But the longer this mess continues, the more people that are going to be put into the positions where they're just frustrated and fed up with absolutely everything that's going on at Tottenham Hotspur. And it's going to keep going like this until on the pitch issues are sorted out. If we were back where we were under Pochettino, challenging for everything, nobody would bat an eyelid at half of the commercial deals that the club do. No one would be on the Supporters Trust board or anything like that. But unfortunately, the longer this mess keeps going and the more boneheaded decisions they keep making, the more price hikes they keep putting on fans, the more they keep selling our best players and not letting us progress into one of the top teams, the more people are going to become frustrated, and the more they're going to keep pushing back against them. And it's just going to be, it's natural in life. People will only take so much, and then people come up behind them even more frustrated, and eventually it comes to a point.
Yeah. No, you're bang on there. I mean, Lee Richards puts channels like this one, Dave's channels, We Are Tottenham TV, Sean's channel, Mia's channel, and a few more I could name are more representative of us than the Trust are. Well, firstly, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say.
I don't know about that, but I'll take it.
Yeah, same here. I was just saying me and Dave and Philip would take that. I'm sure Mia and Sean were doing We Are Tottenham TV. Well, they're the granddaddy of all the Spurs channels, to be fair, aren't they, Dave? To be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if the lads would actually take that as a compliment, calling them the granddaddies, but but they are ready. But look, Philip, you've been in football. You've been following football a long time. Me and Dave love hearing you talk Spurs. We can listen to you all night with your stories and the way you talk about Tottenham and that. Was there a supporters trust, Philip, when you started following Tottenham in the 60s and 70s, or was this a new thing that came in the 80s and 90s?
Well, if there was, I certainly wasn't aware of it. I think it's something that's come along with the more modern ownership techniques. Like back in the 70s, Spurs were owned by the Richardsons and the Wales, and they were close, like a closed shop, really. They were everything was done behind the ballroom door. Nobody heard anything. Any request for pay increase by the players probably never even got beyond Bill Nicholson. He would have turned them down straight away. So there was. I don't think there was any official supporters trust, anything like that back in the 70s and 80s. I would say it's pretty much a thing that's come in since the Premiership started. You know, and since foreign ownership became a thing, and more modern business methods were brought into the game. But no, I don't think so. You went to the game, you paid your money, you bought your program, you had your Bovril at half time, and you went home. That was it. You know, there was no protests in those days that we were aware of.
I reckon you were leading them, Philip. I reckon you're 77 when we got relegated. You were there marching out there, everyone behind the Godfather.
My first game at Tottenham Hotspur at White Hart Lane was in 1975. We beat Aston Villa 4-2. And my biggest worry that day was I brought my girlfriend to us. She'd never been to a football match before, but she's downstairs still, so she must have liked it.
Oh dear, what a way to impress on the first date. Where are we going for dinner? The West End, shopping? No, I'm taking you to Tottenham.
No, you're coming up the high road in Tottenham, which wasn't the best place to be in those days, I can tell you.
No, I took my ex-wife to a game once, and I said to her, "Are you enjoying it?" No, she said, "I'm just following David Ginola's legs around the pitch." I went, "Never taking you again." So look,
my missus thinking about Glenn Hoddle's legs.
Should we just leave this to just the Philip and the Missus show, Dave?
Change the subject. Come on.
Yeah,
Love Island. Look, Philip's version of Love Island.
Yeah, it is. Dave, we'll be watching that. Yeah, breaking every Monday. Love Island with the Godfather. Just a couple of bits of news to go over and be getting here. Eric Dyer has requested a meeting with Ange to take place next week to talk about his role at Tottenham after the signing of VDV and the potential sign of another centre back in the coming weeks. I'm going to love Dave's reaction to this. That's why I said it first, because I could see him already bubbling. You mentioned Eric Dyer's name, and you just see the smoke start to come out of his ears. And for what I'm hearing, Dyer feels Ange doesn't want him at the club and believes he is surplus to requirements.
Only
before
Ange?
I come to you, Philip, I'm gonna let Dave have his say on Eric Dyer. What do you reckon?
Turn the volume down a bit here. Turn the volume down a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't need a meeting with Ange Postecoglou to tell him his role at the football club, did he? I mean, this is what I've been talking about. The guy, God love him, he's so naive and dumb. I mean, how could he not see this coming? You know, the fans, you know, all the mistakes he's made last year, yet he still thinks he has a part to play. The fans didn't want his documentary. Yet he still needs a meeting with Ange to tell him he has no role at this football club. You know, the mistakes he made against Barcelona with the lack of effort, which could have easily been avoided with a bit of effort. Yet he still needs a meeting with Ange Postecoglou. I mean, all he's got to do is just tune into my channel. I could give the guy 1,000 reasons on why he should not be at this football club. He does not need a meeting with Ange Postecoglou. And you know what? It's quite frankly embarrassing that we've left it to come down to this. Someone at the top, just make the decision and get the guy gone. It's easy. He's been holding this club backwards on the field for quite some time. And off the field, when he's not chosen, he starts bitching and moaning to everybody else, and then all of a sudden the man just gets sacked. I'm fed up with him. He doesn't need a meeting with Ange Postecoglou. Someone just tell him he's gone. He's useless. He's crap. How he thinks he still has a role at this football club after the amount of points he cost us on the football pitch last year is absolutely mind-boggling, let alone some of his preseason performances as well. It honestly, when we can be done with this charade, someone please just let me know. The fact that he's here at this football club one day, 1 minute, let alone 24 hours longer than Harry Kane, is quite frankly embarrassing for this football club. And I warned fans, I said, if you don't start talking the truth about this guy and campaigning to actively get him going, stop making all these excuses on why his mistakes happen, stop making all the excuses about his performances, he will outlast Harry Kane. And here we are today. Eric Dyer still trying to find a role at Tottenham. Just accept it. You're crap. You're gone.
Yeah. Philip, all I've got to say is, Philip, just quickly, all I've got to say is one thing.
So deluded.
I've got this.
I got this. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what I reckon?
Yeah.
I think Eric Dyer threw a hissy fit this morning because he thought everyone was going to, he thought he was going to be appointed club captain. That's how delusional I think the guy is. Now, maybe this meeting with Ange is what's needed. So he can sit him down and be told straight from the horse's mouth, Eric, you have no future at this club. Please look for a new one. And that might be the end of it.
The fans tell him every week, Philip. The fans tell him every single time.
Oh, I know they do. But it needs to come. It needs to come from the manager. It needs to come from the guy that picks the team. He is the ultimate arbiter of who plays and who doesn't. And he tells him, you have no future at the club, go and get a new one.
We've got Andrew Gaggery said Dyer's number has now been blocked by Levy. Wilton saying, Dave, no one wants our Deadwood hair, even if they are free. That's true. We've got Darren at Wimbledon. Big up. I haven't seen you before, but welcome to the channel. Please hit that like button, subscription button. Pick up your memberships. They're cheaper than Netflix, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. Just download Movie Box Pro, stream it to your telly, and save yourself a bundle. And just get a $2.99 membership here. It helps us grow. And if you're really feeling flush and you fancy, you don't have to, but if you do, and you're feeling a bit kind, you've had a few bevies tonight, throw in the super chat. It does help us grow. We need. I tell you why we need the super chats. It's to get Philip's right M&Ms, because he's a right diva behind the scenes. I'm telling you.
Bloody
Talk
pink
about the
M&Ms
Tom
again.
Jones. I'm telling you. We need to get red M&Ms for Philip, because if he gets another orange one, I think he's going to chuck it at me. So do me a favor and help. But look, you don't have to. We'll bring your comments up, whatever. We know it's hard out there. We know it's the cost of living and everything. But if you are feeling a bit friendly, a few babies down you, do it. You won't regret it. We've got Darren Wimbledon. Look what Bill Nick did. Couldn't Angie achieve something similar? You don't need Kane. You don't need Levy. You need outstanding managerial skills. Exactly.
Hopefully.
Apparently Tequila says I'm going to get him a Snickers bar. Eric Dyer. Look, guys, for me, Eric Dyer needs to go. The mistakes against Liverpool. I always say the Crystal Palace game, Philip, the one you me did a watch along to, Philip, and I always say it. For the first 70 minutes, Romero and Longley solid in defence. Were one even touched. And then Dyer comes on within 2 minutes, Palace, and he scored. That just tells you everything you need to know about Eric Dyer. He's useless crap, and he needs to go and find himself a new home. Crybaby. Right. My man, Ellie's man, Philip sort of likes him. I don't know about Dave, but Mr. Højbjerg, or Højbjerg, or Højbjerg, as everyone likes to call him, but it took me a while to get his name, but Ellie drilled it into me, so it's Højbjerg, is struggling to complete his design move from Tottenham Hotspur to Madrid, according to reports in Spain. The reason this class is dead in operation is because they cannot meet Tottenham's financial demands for the transfer. We did go over this earlier, Philip, so I know your response. Dave, very quickly, can you see Højbjerg being here at the end of the transfer window?
Again, I mean, if the aim is keeping your best players, I would suggest yes. But the aim of this window seems to be selling our best players. So we probably will end up selling, yeah. But look, you know, we have a fee that needs to be paid. We're not in this business of selling our players cheap. You know, everyone knows that when they come negotiating with our players. So instead of bitching and moaning and leaking things in the press, just come with the cash.
Yeah.
You know Daniel Levy's going to accept it if you come with the cash. So just come with the cash. Look, I like Højbjerg. I really like Højbjerg. I've stuck up for him. I remember there was a time when people were trying to tell me Winks was better than Højbjerg. I was like, you deluded. You know, and for me, I think Højbjerg is one of the leaders in that squad. I think it's a shame to see him go. You know, people have to understand what Højbjerg was brought in here to do. And that was be that sort of solid defensive type. He came in here to mop up behind the likes of Lo Celso and Ndombele because they didn't want to track back. And under every single manager, there's been questions. Does he fit into their system? Yeah, every single manager, no problem. He's fitting into their system, and he's been one of the most selected players outside of Harry Kane each week. You know, I think the guy's missed about 10 games over the course of his Tottenham career. You know, people go on like this guy's crap. You know, they seem to forget this guy has 2 Bundesligas at Bayern Munich. You know, he's a good player, and he's better on the ball than what most give him credit for. And for me, you know, I still, despite Skip scoring 2 against Barcelona, I remember Harry Winks, you know, had a storm against Real Madrid, and people told me he was world class. You know, look how that turned out. And with Skip, I still have my doubts about him. With Bentancur, such a long-term injury, and you know, the severity of it, coming back from it is not going to be seamless. It's going to take him a while to get back up to where he was before that injury. So for me, I think it would be useful for Tottenham Hotspur to keep someone like Højbjerg around, a part of this squad.
Yeah, Philip, very quickly. Look, you know how I feel about Højbjerg. I think he's our best player. He should have been named captain, in my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's just my opinion. Do you think him, and also Philip, I'll start with you on this, on Giff Auburn, will push from his side to get the move to Tottenham over the line quickly? He likes the prospect of playing in the Premier League. Dave's shaking his head already. I'd like to know what Dave's thoughts on this, actually. Premier League and leading the line for Tottenham Hotspur in this new project. Philip, before I go to Dave, Højbjerg and Gift Auburn, would you be happy to see one out and one in?
Well, I mean, if Atletico Madrid can't come up with the cash for Højbjerg, I'd be happy to see him stay. And if he went, I'd only be happy to see him go if we replaced him with someone like Frank Kessie. I don't know whether he's going to Saudi Arabia still or what, but there's talk of us still being in for Conor Gallagher from Chelsea, you know. But I think I'd be happy to see Højbjerg stay, and I think he probably will now. Regarding Conor Urban, I've seen a good few videos of this guy. This guy looks good. Now, I know he's only young and he's unproven in the Premiership, but he's scoring goals for fun at the minute, and his price isn't overly expensive, you know, compared to what I think we were told earlier on. The Spurs were looking to bring in Lukaku. You know, I mean, sorry about that, but when I finished laughing about that, I said, no, Urban would be a much better fit, in my opinion.
Yeah, Dave, on Urban, you're shaking your head. You don't think it's who would you bring in if you had the striker to bring in to replace Harry Kane? Who would you go for?
Vlahovic. Someone of that ilk for me, you know, to hear fans say, huh?
Was it Vlahovic you said, or he went dead there for a second?
Yeah.
Vlahovic,
yeah. Sorry, Dusan Vlahovic, yeah.
I love Vlahovic, but if he's not on the radar, are we going for Urban?
Yeah, look, the thing is, for me, I mean, I just think it's ludicrous to hear people say, you know, give me all the reasons why we should sell Harry Kane and then expect a guy from the Belgian league to come in and score us goals. I mean, for me, we've tried, you know, our history of buying strikers down the years haven't been too good. You know, if you want to go more recent times, post the Defoe, Berbatov, Kane, or Berbatov, Keane era, stuff like that. Darren Bent, Soldado, Vincent Janssen. How did they do? For me, if you're selling like someone like Harry Kane, you've got to go and get someone that's ready-made to come in and score goals. Because if you're going off what Richarlison done last season, them goals that we need are not going to be there. And for people to suggest that we don't need a goal scorer, I mean, what was Furuhashi at Celtic? He bagged him about 30 goals a season. He needs that prolific goal scorer to finish off the wonderful football. So for me, Gift Auburn is not the answer. I'm sorry. He's just nowhere near the answer. We've got plenty of young, talented strikers with potential. Jamie Donnelly, who had an absolute stormer against Man City under-21s, who won that league last year. And today, massive influence for the under-21s. You've got Troy Parrott, Dane Scarlett, Slumsup Bell, Will Lancashire, Valise, who's just come in here. We've got plenty of strikers like that. We do not need any more. All we're doing is just chock-a-blocking that system and that pathway for players to come through, and we're not learning our lessons. You've got to go and get a ready-made striker to have a fail-safe if Richarlison does not bag us them goals.
See,
but can you see Levy paying 50 million for Vlahovic? I can't.
He just got 100 million for Harry Kane. He just got 100 million for Harry Kane. Go and spend it.
Yeah, but wait, David, is that money available to spend, or has it already been spent? That's what we don't know.
He sold them. He has to go and replace him.
Yeah, well, I don't know when he's bought. Will he do that? I don't know when he do that.
For me, I don't think he will. I don't think he will, Philip. Honestly, I don't think he will. I think we've already spent that sort of money, you know. But he sold them. Go and find the money to replace him, in my opinion.
Look, I agree with Dave. Look, you look at Celtic and you look how Ange played up. Kogio up there, 30. We've got Thomas Byrne, our regular Celtic supporter, comes in. Big up, Thomas. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, sorry about the old enemy winning today, but it won't last. They won't win their next game. Me and Philip weren't very happy about that today, were we, Philip? He said 34 last season. But look, you have to have a goal scorer. I can understand people saying everyone's going to score goals, but Tottenham did that back in the 80s. They had Tony Galvin, Ozzy Ardiles, Glenn Hoddle, players like that could score goals anywhere. But they still had Steve Archibald and Garth Crooks up front that will get you 24 goals or over 20 goals a season. Do you know, Gary Lineker came in. We had other players around the pitch that scored goals. He scored over 20 goals a season. Harry Kane, even in the best years on the Poch, We had other players scoring goals. Harry Kane was the man that got you the 30 goals. They're the games strikers that when you're drawing 0-0, everyone else is drawing the blank. They're the strikers that come in and get you that win or get you that point because they're the ones that do it. We do need a goal scorer.
Harry Kane scored 45% of our goals last season. That's too high for one person. Ange's system should have players scoring from all over the pitch. Like Maddison's going to weigh in with chip in with a few. Kulichevsky will. Hopefully Richarlison will. Solomon probably will. Son will. So we've five or six options there for scoring goals. But we still need a centre forward who's putting in scoring regularly. Is Richarlison that? Who knows?
No.
Who knows?
I don't think so.
That's the difference between getting other players to step up and replace Kane's goals and maintaining yourself and having that goal scorer and putting yourself in a position to be able to challenge. That's the difference. You look at teams that win things, and it's been like that all down the history. They have a striker up front that bags them between 20 and 40 goals every single season. They're the teams that traditionally go on to win things. We need that goal scorer, and that's something that's been lost all summer long with the talk about Harry Kane, that we don't need that goal scorer. Of course we do. You know, everyone telling me, oh, Andrew's system doesn't need that goal scorer. I watch more of Andrew's system than most Spurs fans have. I watch Celtic. I don't need people to tell me what Andrew's system needs. I know what it needs. It needs a goal scorer. So we have to go out and get that. You know, everyone else chipping in with goals. This whole argument again. I mean, people chipped in with goals under Antonio.
You need to have your attacking midfielders chipping in with goals to complement what the centre forward's knocking in. The more goals, the merrier. The more you score, the more you win. So, you know, I'd rather have five players scoring goals than just two.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, players have chipped in. They've chipped in under Conte. Wing backs chipped in under Conte. Centre backs chipped in from corner kicks and that under Conte. Centre midfielders chipped in. Wingers chipped in. Plus with Harry Kane. Under Jose Mourinho, I would say that was the most when we were dependent on someone like Kane and Son. Under Pochettino, every other player's all chipped in with goals. Everyone chips in with their fair share around. It happens across most football teams. Everyone always chips in a couple from different positions throughout the season, but you do need that goal scorer to complement it. That's the difference between being successful and not.
Right. I'm just reading some breaking news I've got from my source. I'm just trying to work it out. Right, I'll read that in a minute. Look, very quickly, I want to say big up to Sarah I, Spurs woman team from 87 to 93. Big up, welcome to the channel. And also Gwen Evans as well, who hasn't here before. So big up, Gwen. Welcome to the Cockeral Clock.
Was a good goal scorer,
not the Clock, which I get it mixed up sometimes. Mark Falco, we're on the podcast. Look, for me, we've all watched Celtic play under Ange the last 2 years up there. We're all Celtic fans, apart from Spurs fans, but we all support Celtic as well. So we know what's coming. I'm really excited. I know Philip's excited. I know you're excited too, Dave. I know the Harry Kane thing has been a bit of a body blow, and I can admit that it all has been for all of us. But I'm so excited. I love the way Ange's press conference, everyone's mate. You know, his press conferences are a breath of fresh air. So everything about it.
He doesn't talk in riddles.
No, he doesn't, not like Conte. But what I want to get on is Brentford versus Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow. Tottenham are back, baby. They're back in the Premier League. The first game tomorrow. I am excited. Dave's like, he's sitting on cold fights. He won't go to sleep tonight. He'll be that excited. It's like Christmas Eve. Philip, seen it, done it, got the video. I'm going to get my 12 hours sleep. But me and Dave will be up thinking, come on, is it game day yet? Is it game day yet? Come on. It's a match yet. It's a match yet. We'll be excited. So let's go through where you can watch it, where you can see it, and who's in, who's out. Of course, it's the Premier League. We're away to Brentford tomorrow. It's at the Community Stadium, a 2 o'clock kickoff in the UK, 9 o'clock Eastern time, and 6 o'clock Pacific summer time. Referee is Robert Jones. The VAR man is Dan Robathan. Never heard of him before. Never heard of him. Yeah, very new. New there. The head-to-head record for the last 5 games. Brentford 1-1, Tottenham 2 draws. The last meeting was possibly the game we lost to Europe, was our 3-1 defeat at home to Brentford last season. You can watch it on Sky Sports main event, Sky Sports Premier League, Sky Sports Ultra. If you're in the United States, God bless you, big up the USA. You can watch it on Peacock Premium. And of course, if you're over the border in Canada, where it's a bit cold, so you need to wrap up a bit warm, watch it on Fubo on Canada. Now, injuries, you're asking me. Dermot, Philip, Dave, what's the injuries tomorrow? Well, I will tell you what the injuries are. Foster, Whiteman, Segi are out. Bentacore, of course, back to I think October and November. Hill and Parrott all are injured. There's a doubt over the Van de Ven, but I think that is only because of him signing so late. So that's where the doubt may be. And this is the predicted lineup for tomorrow. We've got Venom in goal, Emerson, Romero, Davis, Destiny, the back four, Skip in front of the back four, Madison, Basuma, Kulu, Son, the captain on the wings, and Richarlison up front. Philip, I'll start with you. What do you think of that lineup? What do you think our hopes are for our start of the game tomorrow against Brentford? And what's your score prediction going to be?
Well, that's pretty much the back four that started last Sunday against Shakhtar. And a few dodgy moments, but nothing really too serious. The midfield, obviously, it was Højbjerg, Madison, and Papa Matasar started that. So two changes there. And it was Kulusevski, obviously, and Son were there. Richarlison wasn't, Kane was. So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty close to what it could be tomorrow. I don't think there'll be too much difference in that. Possibly... there might be a change in midfield. Papa Sarr might play instead of Skip. I don't know. We'll see. Because Papa Sarr played very well against Shakhtar.
He really did. And I thought Basuma played well against Barcelona as well, Philip, to be fair.
Yeah. Basuma, I think we're going to see the real Basuma this season. We didn't really see it last season for a variety of reasons. And the player that we need to see the real of is Richarlison. It's about time he started repaying that transfer fee of his now. And by getting amongst the goals straight away.
Yeah, and big up Colin. It says, smash the like, guys, please. We're at 16 likes. Come on, 19. We can do better than this. If you hit 30 likes, Philip will sing one of his special hits of either It's Not Unusual or What's New Pussycat. We will get that.
Sorry, wrong end of the screen. I hit the wrong end of the screen.
You know, people don't know it. Dave's actually needs his backing group. It's actually called Tom Jones and the Irish Hotspur Band. That's what the band is. Dave didn't want me to say anything, but Dave
I have to put up with this every night. So you know,
it's the price you pay for fame, Philip, right?
Oh God, this is fame. God help! I think I'd rather not have it.
It is fun. Dave, look, there's our team. New goalkeeper. Maybe we've got new midfielder in Madison. Probably VDV might start, might come on as a substitute. Look, forget the Harry Kane stuff. How excited are you for tomorrow? For seeing us start the Premier League? We're back, and Ange, I'm really excited.
Yeah, look, I'm very, very excited for the new season, Dermot. You know, I'm excited to see us, you know, try and play football the right way, the way I like it to be played, and the way I was brought up to try and play it. So it's good to see us getting back to that. But I do have nerves as well. Look, the fact that we're sitting here and Davies could potentially be in the lineup is mind-boggling, considering backline was our weakest area last year, and he contributed to it as well. You got to remember, the back end of last season, he got absolutely destroyed by Mbeumo. Ben Davies did. He was at fault for two of the goals. And look, skipping midfield, I'd rather Sarr personally. I think Sarr's a much better player. I think he's got a much higher ceiling. But, you know, look, either or, we'll wait and see. Yeah. But, look, one thing I'll give Thomas Frank, you know, when his teams have come up against us, we haven't beaten them down at the G-Tech Stadium since they've been promoted, by the way. No. But he's very good at picking out our weaknesses. I remember the season before when we got Champions League under Antonio Conte. I know we drew 0-0 down there with Brentford, but he exposed us from set pieces time and time again. People take themselves back to the first half in that game. They done 3 or 4 corners, the exact same routine every single time. Or Ivan Toney just peeled off the back of the melee, waited for the ball to drop and got off a shot. So Thomas Frank will, you know, no doubt still use set pieces, as there's still a bit of a weakness of ours. But overall, I'm excited for this season, but we do have to understand there is going to be bumps in this road. It's a new manager, it's a new era, it's a new leadership group, and it's a new spine to the team. You look right down that team. New goalkeeper. Hopefully Van der Ven comes in, new centre-back. You've got a new midfield in there, and then you've got Richie leading the line instead of Harry Kane. So it's a new spine across that whole team. Taking yourself back to Leicester last season, they went a different route without Schmeichel and without Jamie Vardy. They ended up paying the price, and they also had a piss-poor back line despite having some good midfielders. So the warning signs are there. I just hope we're good enough to rise above that. Look, I think, personally, we've got to get behind Ange, even through the tough times. Do not call for his head, except where we are as a club on a rebuilding route, from top to bottom, and it's going to take time. And just hopefully Ange, for me, can stabilize the ship this season and then have another good window next season or a decent window next summer and push on again from there. But there will be bumps in this road.
Of course, there will be bumps here. Get Neil Shafton, big up Neil, says, Philip's the only person I know who has Welsh Entertainment Centre and sheep tried to a lamppost. Now, this lamppost, Philip said earlier on around the grounds that we'd be better off buying a lamppost than a certain player. Now, Philip, Mr. Brady, you are the godfather, but what were you on? Did you have too many M&Ms before you came on the show earlier? Do you want to explain?
I think I was referring to Lukaku, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I still rather buy a lamppost.
Yeah. Which was really funny. But anyway, got Leslie Crawford, big up. This is his team. Venom, Destiny, VDV, Romero, Royal, Emerson, Basuma, Sarr, Madison, Son, Kulu, Perisic. Do you know what? That, for me, looks a better lineup than the predicted lineup I just brought up there, to be fair.
I'll tell you one thing. Perisic seems to have got a new lease of life under Ange. There's no talk of him going now at all. And he certainly, he played very well against Barcelona.
Do you know what it is though? He's not being asked to do the defensive duties of a left wing back. He's not playing as deep. He's not playing as deep as in the pitch as well. At left wing back, you also start deeper in the pitch. Whereas on Ange Postecoglou's system, because we try and camp in their half, and when we lose the ball, we try to press it. He can stay higher up the pitch, which means we can get him back to doing what he's best at.
And that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
That's what he's good at.
Yeah.
High up
he
pitch.
Is. Very quickly, Ellie did play for the Spurs ladies in the 70s up to the 80s. So she was one of the founding members of the Tottenham Hotspur ladies. So Sarah, if you want to get in contact with us, I will put you in contact with Ellie. She is a Spurs legend who started it all off with the girls there. So big up Sarah Ian. Thank you for coming in. Guys, look, we are going to finish the podcast now. We'll just very quickly get you last a bit of breaking news. Then we'll get your score predictions, Dave. Then you can tell where people can find you. And then me and Philip will tell people what's coming up in the next few days. Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly planning to submit an official proposal to sign Lille star Jonathan David this summer. So that is the very latest we've got on that. So look, it could come whoever we get. Now, Mr. Harris, the legend that is the Irish Hotspur himself, the King of Kildare, though Wexford is a better county, by the way, but we'll leave that there for another show. It's the number one county in Ireland. You know that, Dave.
All you do is sell strawberries around the country. We've got the Curragh, one of the greatest landscapes of this isle, and we're also home to the military to bail your country or your county out if anything goes wrong down there. I'll just not deploy them.
Yeah, look. If anyone invaded Wexford, I'm running to Cadell straight away, and so you can have Wexford. Fine, you can have it.
Bunclody is what you're best at. Bunclody Beach.
Yeah, very funny. Yeah, probably right actually. But the strawberries are the best in Ireland. You can't deny that now.
I'll give you that. Good strawberries, bit of sugar on them, they're tasty.
Yeah. See.
Good strawberries don't need sugar, but look, we won't argue.
But Dave, you've got to realise we are the Monaco of Ireland down this side. Wexford and Riverchapel is the Monaco of Ireland. You know we are. So just a minute. But anyway, apart from
Philip's
that,
the Monaco of Ireland. He's the king of Monaco compared to us Irish people.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Mr. Brady is actually the official minister for foreign affairs and travel and traveling for the Irish government. He doesn't broadcast it a lot. So if you see like Micheál Martin going around as a foreign affairs minister, it's really he works for Philip Brady and Philip's telling them where to go. So Philip is the official government for tourism.
And if you don't do what he says, they get tied to the lamppost.
That's right, with the sheep.
I tell you, I wish we could do that for you government ministers. I tell you that we definitely would do that. But anyway, score for tomorrow, sir. Give us your score prediction and where can people find you?
Yeah, look, despite me being unhappy with maybe some of Tottenham's actions this summer, I'm still a believer and I still want what's best for this club. And, I still hope and pray for what's best for this club. So for me, look, it'd be an interesting one. I think there's going to be nerves at the start of the game for sure. Post-Harry Kane era, new leadership group. There's going to be a lot of expectancy on this team's shoulders and the whole world will be tuning in to see how Tottenham do without Harry Kane. So there will be nerves at the start. But you know what? I'm going to back our boys. I'm going 2-0, Sonny to celebrate being captain with a brace. And that's if Van de Ven starts. If Davey starts, I'll go 2-1. Look, where you can find me over at the Irish Hotspur. You'll find these two great gentlemen on over there as well. So yeah, if you like me and you like these guys, get over there and check it out. Thank you very much for having me, guys, and your viewers. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Yeah, and look, we're hoping to make this every week, actually, with Dave coming on with this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we needed a big name and a big face and a big name out there. And the biggest name in Ireland is Mr. Dave Harris. He can't even go around Kildare. Everyone's asking for autographs. We go to Ireland games. It's like me and Philip are his bodyguards. We have to sneak him into the Aviva and then sneak him out again. So he's that famous. He really is.
I tell you, the Kildare Spurs supporters group is getting bigger as well. There's a lot of people from around where I live. I'm telling you that we're taking over.
Yeah, we're one like away from Column to buy a Tottenham shirt, and we have got that in the chat column. And I actually have copied and pasted that. So you have to, once we get the 30, you're buying the Tottenham shirt. It's 29 at the moment.
He's got to get Kane on the back as well.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, Mr. Brady. Look, a man that's seen Tottenham over the years, come and go, ups and downs, everything now. Score prediction tomorrow, and what have we got coming up tomorrow?
I'm going to go 2-1 the Spurs. I'm not going to say we're going to get a clean sheet because we probably won't. 2-1 the Spurs with Son and Richie to score. And coming up, we're going to watch along from behind the couch probably tomorrow on the Spurs game at 2. Then we're doing a program on Monday. Just a review of the whole Premiership. What would they say we're going to call it? Premiership. Focus on the Premiership. Go through not just Spurs, but the other results of the weekend, and maybe come up with that team of the week. It's be a bit. And no Arsenal players allowed, by the way. That's one of the rules. And we'll also have news be the 4 o'clock every day, and then the debate show on a Friday and the podcast on a Saturday.
Yeah, and
if
this is where you.
Apologies.
Yeah, you just done it for me, Philip. I'm just going to give my score prediction now. Look, I'm really excited Tottenham back tomorrow. I really think Ange's going to have a cracking day. I'm going for a 4-0 win. I think we can actually turn them over 4-0. I think Sonny's going to get a couple. I think Maddison will get one as well. I think Tottenham, if I agree with Dave, if David starts, we will concede. If VDV starts, we won't concede. 4-0. Ange kicks off with a big win, and then we'll go to Manchester United. Sorry, Colin, I'm going to put you lads in the shade as well, because we're finishing third this season. I don't care what anyone says. I know people calling me deluded. Dave knows I'm deluded, but I'm going extra deluded. We're going to win a cup and finish third this year because Tottenham are back. The big, mighty Cockeral is going to march down the high road because we're back, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait. Dave, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, lads.
Mr. Brady, it's a pleasure as always. Go and sing your Tom Jones or whatever you do in the Saturday.
No, do you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to watch the best Irish film ever made. It's an Archie one. It's The Commitments.
Oh, yes. What a film.
Yes. What a film. Mia says, Dermo, you are deluded. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very kind. Now,
do you know what, Dermo?
What?
Do you know what? Just quickly, right? I was so happy when you came along because I never thought I'd find anyone more deluded than me. And then out you come. I'm buzzing. You take that title off me, so I appreciate it.
That's okay. Mia says, Dermo and his Cockeral cock. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Gotcha.
Got you. No, Colin, you cannot back out of it now. 30 nights, you're buying the Tottenham shirt, so you
with Kane on the back because it's useless.
On the back. We've got Bond Docs James. Now, we always, and Sarah says, what a great film it is. Now, we always finish this with Fred, our famous little person from Mexico, I think he's from. So, Dave, we're actually giving you the honor tonight of finishing this. Now, have you seen Fred before?
Is that the guy that runs through the glass?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me yesterday.
Yeah. Now, what is Fred up to? What's he running away from tonight?
Harry Kane transfer news.
Okay.
As soon as we got here, we go.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I pressed.
It's the Bayern Munich fan.
Oh, what? I swear to God, wonder what his missus thinking when she sees that, Thinking, what is he fucking up to? But anyway, listen, thanks all for watching. We are, you and me, Dermot, both deluded. Big up Wilton. This man is a legend, by the way. This is the fella that chucked the TV out of his hotel or his apartment window when Ian Walker made a mistake. Now, it went into a swimming pool, apparently. Wilton,
TVs in those days, not the lightweight jobs now.
Yeah.
They were real heavyweight things.
But Lee says, sorry, folks, but I think it's time to move on from Fred. Need someone new for the new season. I look for something. Okay, Lee. I would look for something. Sarah loves it anyway, so big up, Sarah. Listen, Dave, thanks for coming on. Philip, it's always been a pleasure doing the show with you. We are back tomorrow at 1:45 for the watch along Tottenham for Brentford against Tottenham. Can we see the mighty Spurs march on and start the season in style? Of course we can. Look, Harry Kane may not have won a trophy tonight, but I tell you what, we still got our Dave. He is still the king of the Harry Kane lane. God bless. Good night. Come on, you Spurs in big
Come on, Leipzig.
Now, handy if I had the going out intro ready, wouldn't it? Unprofessional, Turbo. Unprofessional. Goodbye.
I'm a Leipzig fan now.